Hello my dear students, welcome back to the class once again. So today we are going to discuss a different topic, but it's related with the previous chapter which I taught you. So in the previous chapter I taught you about fundamental rights, okay, and many of the rights of the Indians I have discussed over there in detail. And those who have not watched those videos till now, please do watch it. The link is shared in the description box. So I request you all, please watch the video because it is very important for us being a citizen of this country. We at least can know what all are our fundamental rights. So today I am going to teach you fundamental duties. So as you all know that it's a give and take relation. When we are given fundamental rights, then definitely we also have to perform certain duties. But let me tell you, when our constitution was started, when our constitution was enforced in the year 1950, at that time fundamental duty was not included. It was not included in our constitution. Only fundamental duties was there. So this was included in the year 1976 through 42nd Amendment Act. Okay, through 42nd Amendment Act 1976, fundamental duty was included in our constitution. So as you all know that fundamental rights are included in part 3 of our constitution. Part 3 of our constitution deals with fundamental rights. Okay, so different parts are there in our constitution, and all these parts discuss certain functions and responsibilities of the citizens that they had to perform. Okay, and then fundamental duties are also very important for us, because without duties we cannot understand our responsibilities. That is why fundamental duties were included in our constitution through 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Okay, and this is mentioned in part 4A of our constitution. Fundamental duties are mentioned down in part 4A of our constitution. Okay, if you want to know about the article number 51A deals with fundamental duties. Okay, now altogether at present we have 11 fundamental duties, but initially it had only 10 fundamental duties. 10 fundamental duties were there. So today we have how many? 11. So let us now discuss one by one what are the fundamental duties of the Indian citizens or the citizens of this country, which is very important for us to know our duties. The first important duty of an Indian citizen is to abide by the constitution. To abide by the constitution and respect the national flag and the national anthem. Okay, we must abide by that. We must follow our constitution strictly. Okay, we must give respect to our constitution. We have to give respect even to our national flag as well as to our national anthem. So you might have seen whenever national anthems are sung, we stand wherever we are, stand still until the national anthem gets over. In our school also, every morning after the morning prayer, we sing our national anthem, which makes us feel very proud. Okay, so it is the duty of every citizen to obey the constitutional law as written in the constitution. It's every constitutional law are to be obeyed by the citizen of this country. Okay. Apart from that, we also must respect the national ideals and institutions and the symbols of our national sovereignty, and that is national flag and the national emblem and the national anthem. In short, we must follow our constitution strictly, we must respect our national flag, we must respect our national anthem, the first one. Okay, then number 2, to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggles for freedom. We must cherish and follow the noble ideals which had inspired our national struggle for freedom. Those who gave their life, those who were inspired to free our country from the British rule, they must not be forgotten. Okay, so in our constitution, for freedom from alien rule, we were guided by the ideals of liberty, equality, unity, justice, fraternity, brotherhood, peace, and non-violence. It is now a fundamental duty of all the citizens of this country to respect and follow these values of our freedom struggle. Our freedom struggle is based on all this liberty, equality, fraternity, brotherhood. We must respect it. Okay, then number 3, to protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of the nation. So we must uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of the nation. So we all know that, my dear, the state protects and enforces the rights and freedoms of the people. Consequently, it is our duty, it is the fundamental duty of the citizens to preserve, protect, and defend the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of our country. It is not only the duty of the government to defend our country, it is the duty of each and every citizen to defend and protect the unity and integrity of our nation. Did you understand? So it is to protect our sovereignty. We must protect our sovereignty. We must protect our unity and integrity of the integration means to be united together. The next one we have is to defend the country. It is the duty of each and every citizens to defend the country. We must defend. That means how to defend. It is not only the duty of the army personnel or the soldiers to defend our country. It is the duty of each and every citizen of the country to be ready to defend the country whenever they are required. Anytime, anywhere, whenever we are required in order to protect our country, we must defend it. We must defend it. Is that clear? So it is the duty of the citizens of the country to defend the country whenever required and to render national service. We must be ready to render our national service when called upon to do so. Whenever we are required, whenever we are called, we must be ready to perform it. So it is the duty of each and every citizens to defend the motherland and to do national service. National service is a fundamental duty of every citizen of India. It is our duty to protect our motherland. Okay, so that is all about to defend the country. Number 5, to promote the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India. It is the duty. It is our duty to promote the feeling of brotherhood, common brotherhood among each and every people of the country. We are not different. We all are one. We should not make a differences on the basis of region, province, or religion. We must promote the spirit of common brotherhood. We all are one and we belong to this country, and it is our duty to live happily, peacefully, and united. Got it? So it is our duty to promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India and to renounce practice of idolatry, okay, derogatory to the dignity of the women. We must not disrespect women in our country too. Okay, so this is all about the spirit of common brotherhood. Okay, we must not disgrace or disrespect women also. They all must be treated properly. Okay, so next one we have is to preserve the heritage of our composite culture. So what is the meaning of composite culture? Mixed culture. India has a mixture of different cultures, and it is our duty to preserve it. It is our duty. It is the duty of each and every citizen to value and preserve the rich heritage of our country. Rich heritage of our country. Culture should be preserved. So okay. So why to preserve the culture? It's very simple. In order to make the new generation of India conscious of our past, okay, past glory and the rich heritage, it is the fundamental duty of all the citizens, my dear, to value, preserve, and protect our composite culture. So if we don't preserve, then the coming generation, they may not know about our rich heritage and culture of our country. So we must preserve it, and we must spread this to the coming generation, and we must talk about our past, glorious past, and we must share our culture among them so that it will continue forever and ever. Okay, And next one we have is number 7, to protect and preserve the natural environment. To protect and preserve the natural environment. So definitely we live in this country and we definitely are responsible. We must be responsible to create. So I was talking about to protect and preserve the natural environment. So definitely, my dear students, you must know that we live for peace, we live for harmony, and all this is possible when we live in a very good environment, in a natural environment, and it is our duty to protect our natural environment. So environment means area in which we live. So it includes forest, lakes, rivers and wildlife, and to have a compassion for living creature it should be our duty. So it is not that we all are superior to all other things in the world, my dear. We all live together. Each and everything in this earth are related to each other. If you don't take care of trees and plants, then definitely we cannot survive for a longer period. You know, trees gives us oxygen, and due to that we survive and we have a healthy life. So it is our duty to protect our environment, not only looking after the forest, but it is our duty to keep our surroundings neat and clean. We must keep our surroundings neat and clean. So it is our duty to protect our natural environment. We must not cut down excess trees. Okay. The next one we have is to develop the scientific temper and the spirit of inquiry. Scientific temper must be developed, my dear, so that scientific invention discoveries can be done. Okay. So for eradicating lot of evil practices and customs, it is essential that people should develop a scientific outlook. They must develop a rational outlook. Okay, and love for learning and change everything. They should use their talents, my dear. The people should use their talents and resources for reforming and developing the society. Society must be developed, and changes can be brought in it by learning new things. So you know, in the past, my dear, society had lot of evil practices and all. People believed in blind faith and superstitions. But slowly and gradually, due to learning, due to spirit of inquiry, gaining more and more knowledge, they thought all these are useless and they gave up. So education, learning changes or brings transformation in our society, and it is the duty of all the learned person to bring changes in our society. And those who have the talents, they must utilize it for reforming and developing the society. Okay, if society is developed, all over the country development can be seen. Society, state, country as a whole will see some drastic changes. Okay. Now next one is safeguard public property. To safeguard public property, okay, it is a duty of the people of the country to safeguard the public property. Now what is mean a public property? You might have heard private property. Private property means your bungalow, your car, houses, your private property. Without your permission, nobody can get into your house. But public properties are like a road, bridges, culverts, parks, government schools. Okay. Bridges are there, ponds are there, okay, so which are managed and organized by the government of India, state government or the central government. Those are known as public property. So that property is used by us. We walk on the road, we drive cars on the road. It is our duty to protect it. If you think that I have nothing to do with the road, I don't have a car, so I am going to dig a big hole on the road. No, my dear, it's not that we must do. It is our duty to protect. You must think that all this belongs to our country. Each and every people should think that this is my property. Public property means it is your property. So who will take care of those property? We have to take care of those properties. Okay, if somebody is doing nonsense or trying to damage the roads and all, it is our duty to stop them. We must make them understand, don't do it. It is used by each and every people. It doesn't belong to me or you, it belongs to everyone. So it is our duty to raise our voice when certain thing goes wrong regarding making damages for the public property. Okay, so it is the duty of citizens, my dear, to protect the public property. Okay, so this we must always understand that the property belongs to each and every people of the country. The next one we have is to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rise to higher levels of individual and achievements. So this is what we have to do. So let me make you understand. No society and no country, my dear. Once again, no society and no country can really progress without the willing and the dedicated effort of its people. Okay, it is a fundamental duty of the people to work for attaining all-round excellence in all spheres of life. It is our duty to work in all spheres of life for the fullest development of our country. It is not the duty of few people only. It is a duty. It is a collective duty of all the people. Okay, so they must be dedicated towards bringing changes in the country. And without the willing and dedication, it is not possible. So it is the duty of each and every people, my dear, to work for attaining all-round development of the country in all spheres of life. Okay. Then the last one, which was not there before. So this number 11 was included in the year 2002, my dear, through 86th Amendment Act. This is very, very important, related to the Right to Education Act 2002. Right to Education Act 2002. One more duty is been mentioned along with the rest of the 10 fundamental duties, which is very, very important, my dear. Many of you might not have gone through it. I am going to tell you about it. This duty was added to the list of duties by 86th Amendment Act 2002. 2002. Okay, so it is the duty of each and every parents, my dear. The parents must send their children to school for getting education. Last time also in one of the tutorial I told you about Right to Education Act 2002. Free and compulsory education I was talking about. Free and compulsory. So it is compulsory for each and every parents to send their children to school. Why? For getting education. They don't have to pay. They don't have to pay for getting educated. It is free of cost. Before it was included in the directive principles, and now it has been brought into the fundamental right in the form of the government, in the form of Right to Education Act 2002, and was included in the duty also. So once it is included in fundamental right as education, compulsory education, it is the duty of the parents also to send their children to school compulsorily. Okay, so these are the 11 fundamental duties of every citizens of India. Okay, and it is very, very important for us to follow it also. So this fundamental duty was not there initially. Later on it was introduced, it was included in the fundamental duty, and this fundamental duty was borrowed from the constitution of Soviet Union. Okay, that means duties were borrowed from the erstwhile Soviet constitution and was incorporated, it means included in the fundamental, included in our constitution through 42nd Amendment Act 1970. 42nd Amendment Act 1976 fundamental duty was included, and 86th Amendment Act point number 11 was included. At that time 10 were there. But after 2002, how many fundamental duties now it is there? How many fundamental duties? 11. 11 fundamental duties are there. So one by one, in short, the first one is to abide by the constitution and respect the national flag and national anthem. Point number 2, to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. Then point number 3, to protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. To defend the country. To promote the spirit of common brotherhood among all the people of India, to preserve the heritage of our composite culture, to protect and preserve the natural environment. Number 8, to develop the scientific temper and the spirit of inquiry. Then number 9, to safeguard the public property. Then number 10, to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rise to higher level of endeavors and achievements. And the last one, number 11, which was included in 2002, citizen who is a parent or guardian. Citizen who is a parent, those are children or a guardian, okay, has a duty to provide opportunities for education to his child or ward between the age of 6 and 14. Between the age of 6 and 14, the children are given free and compulsory education. So it is the duty of a parent or guardian to provide opportunity to them. They must be sent to schools so that they can get at least the basic education, elementary education. This much government has tried to do it. Okay children, so this is all about fundamental duties. So in the previous class, fundamental rights we discussed, and here a very short one, fundamental duties. Hope you all have understood it. So all together 11 fundamental duties are there, which if you remember it is very important. Just for your kind information, let me tell you, many of you don't know what are the fundamental duties or basic fundamental duties. Like for student, national anthem must be protected. National anthem must be respected. Okay, during the national anthem, I have seen that many of the students, they come running and they join the assembly. They should not do. Wherever they are, stand still. Once the national anthem is over, then you can join the line. So wherever you hear the national anthem, then definitely it is your duty to at least stand still and pay respect to our national anthem and the national flag. During Independence Day and all, during Republic Day and all, I see many of the people, they furl national flag and all. After the day is over, it is thrown somewhere on the road. Sometimes it is thrown on the drains and all. That is pathetic, my dear. We must pay respect. It is not that we must give respect to our national flag twice in a year during Independence Day and Republic Day. It must be respected throughout our life. That is our right, my dear. That is our duty to respect our national flag. That is our identity. We belong to this country. So wherever you go, the cricket team, whenever they go to play in other countries, our national flag is flown, my dear. So that is what we think, that Indian cricket team is representing our country, India. They are not representing a cricket team. They are representing the country as a whole. So in Olympics and all, wherever any meetings are held, SARC meetings are held, you see the flag of India. So that is our identity. That belongs to our country. So it is our duty to respect our national flag, my dear. At least national flag and national anthem you must respect it. Rest of the thing, everybody does it. Like protecting the environment. You people are so conscious nowadays, my dear, that you have decided not to cut down trees. You are keeping your surroundings clean, right? It is very good sign, my dear, that people now are becoming conscious, and it is all because of education, my dear. It is all because of education that people now are becoming more and more responsible in keeping their surroundings neat and clean and protecting the environment. Okay children, and live peacefully, live happily, live like brothers. Don't make any differences. We belong to this country. We all are one. We all know, we may not know each other, but at the end we all are one. We all are Indians. We live in different parts of the country, doesn't matter, but we all are Indians. Okay, that is our identity. Okay children, so this is all about fundamental duties, which is mentioned in part 4A of our constitution. Okay children, so hopefully you understood all this. So in the next class we'll discuss about directive principles of state policy. So directive principles of state policy we'll be discussing it. So fundamental duties are for the people, directive principles of state policies are for the state. Okay, so this is also a very small chapter. We'll do it in the next class. Okay, till then please take care of yourself, and please do watch the previous videos in your free time. Okay, don't waste your time. Simply just watch the that means tutorial given by your teachers. Okay, it is all there in your school channel. Please do watch it, so that at least you can utilize your time for a constructive work. Okay, so please take care, stay safe, bye bye. Yeah, one more thing before I leave you all. So homework for you all, my dear, homework for you all. In the first chapter I told you to learn the preamble of the Constitution of India. I hope you all have learned it. Now the second homework I am giving you is to learn the fundamental, all the 11 fundamental rights. You must learn it. Okay, preamble, we the people of India, you all have learned it. Now I'll be conducting a test on that. You have to write the preamble. Okay, and then you have to send it to me. And then fundamental duties, 11 fundamental duties, one by one you have to do it. Okay, so please do this preamble and fundamental duties. You have to learn by heart. Okay, take care. Bye bye.